Welcome ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sunesha and we are creating a map for City Skylines. In today's episode we're gonna take a look at Wilbur's Remap Altitudes function, which we can use inside the game. I was under the impression that the game inside the game that we had resolutions of the whole height map was when you imported that was lower and how it resolved into the game. My impression was completely wrong because I've discovered by trial and error that everything is resolved with just 1081 pixels. That means that every square that is around 12 kilometers, I think it's supposed to be, is actually resolved with a lot. Maybe well, let's just think about it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's just resolved with 100 pixels or something in width and length. Yeah, that's just a mean average here. So yeah, I can understand creating yellow gold features on your mountains and so on is actually very hard because we can't resolve this. But what the good news about this is that it actually doesn't destroy any information by exporting your map, because this will actually resolve your whole map in detail, which is super good news, because then this gives us creative tools to work outside the game's map editor to edit your features here. So today, yeah, we're gonna take a look at Remap Altitude, because we can do this without destroying the map. And this was not something I believed it was in the beginning. I was really glad to learn about this, because this will make some of the works a little bit easier for me. So what I'm dealing with here is that I don't really like the shape of things here. We can see that we have the crag here, and we can take a look at the other side. I don't like the shape of things, so I want to change the shape on things without destroying all my work. I put some work here into this meteor strike that turned into a volcano in the long run, but I want it to be a little bit more slopey, so I want to remap and the altitudes. This will be very, very hard work to do inside the map editor. So now we're gonna take help with help of Wilbur to do this. So the cool thing about Wilbur is that you can actually select features that we want to work with. So the first thing I want to do is, of course, zoom in so I can see what I'm working with. And there will be a lot of explaining. This is not a video. I'm just making a video for the most stupid people I can think about. So don't feel stupid if you don't understand everything. But yes, I'm going to explain just about everything as I do it. So first of all, we want to lasso around here. The lasso tool works as any other image editor tools. You draw around the features you want to work with. So in our case is our meteor strike there. I know this and this now happened here, that I selected, and some of the pixels are not selected here. And just like any other image editor, if you just hold down shift, you get a plus sign around your lasso. That means that you can select more. So now I can select it like this. Or if I want to, for example, shave here, I can use Control key instead, and this will remove stuff from my selection. Yes, this is a very basic stuff, but if you have no experience in image editors, yes, you probably have, but yes, that's how it works. So let's go zoomy here, because I'm recording a ridiculous resolution because I have a ridiculously big screen. So what I'm gonna zoom in here first, and then we'll go to filter, and now we're gonna work with our selection. And a thing to remember while working with Remap Altitudes is that we are now working with our selection, so that means that is our zero value here. So if I select something, yeah, let me decide how this translates into the game. Oh, I'm in a sumi mood. So let's get out of here. So our selection goes around here in our feature. Let's remove this thing in the middle. So this is 0, and this is the lowest point of our selection. So that is what we have to work with, and that is the highest point. And as we have made a selection, it's really easy for us to see how things will play out, because we can see different altitudes here. So if we remap them, we can accelerate or flatten things out if however we want it. So if we think, you have to think as a map editor or a map, we are only working in 2 dimensions. So we only have the highest point and the lowest point. We don't have a 3-dimensional work here. We're just lowering there. But however, we have 65,000 values between 0 and the highest point in the game. So there is a form of, we have really a lot of values to resolve different detail. So what was the problem with my things here? I don't like this shape, and I want to lower it. I want to lower it all. I want to lower it and flatten it out a bit, so it doesn't look like this. So I think it's a little bit high. I want to flatten it out. So how do I go about to do that? The highest point, we can lower our highest point by, let's try to make a new curve here. I wanted to go like this. I'm just imagining where I want to do changes here. And then we will smooth it out. This is a very rough adjustment. You will probably have to do it a couple of times until you get the pleasing results. But it's an interesting thing how to work. I have done a very big changes. This looks very small, but you have to remember that the straight line is going around here. So yes, I've made a big dip there in the middle, which will make the highest point more pointy, or it will make them pointier looking because we have lowered the middle values. So yeah, I could go and shave here a little bit more so it doesn't get so exaggerated. Smooth. It will smooth out your small edits here. Okay, so let's see how Wilbur deals with that. And as I said, it will exaggerate to the highest points on the whole map here, as I didn't almost make any changes at all. So how I didn't like this change a lot. So how go about to change it? I think I have to think about smoothing the area out between the middle values and the higher values. So let's go back here, and I think it's around here. So let's smooth it. And we don't want it like looking like that. So yeah, it's still a very exaggerated ridge around the area here. Yes, let's just take a look at the game, how it looks. So we will save our file, so we'll retest here in our case. In case you're wondering, let me zoom in. This is, you can pause the game and then you can find the direct location here, even if you don't know where to store your height maps, so you can import them into City Skylines. So let's save this. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've saved it, and so we're gonna import it here. So take a good look here, what we have done here. We did a quite subtle but very exaggerated change here. I was just about to show you guys how you can work with this tool. So let's import it, and you can see I've flattened out. And as I exaggerated the ridges, the reason why I exaggerated the ridges was by not changing them with the other ridges here, so I didn't lower them so much, and this looks like we have a more exaggerated ridge. However, you can still see that my detail work is still here, because we just remapped it, so it has kind of just made all the values different without changing anything. So let me give him a moment, and I will do a more pleasing result. So I used a lot more subtle detail here, and now I kind of got going a more interesting slope, but you could work around with it. It helps you a little bit, especially when you have worked with something, and you just want to change how it looks without taking away the detail, but you want to change how the overall things look. So yeah, it was an easy change to do. It doesn't take a lot. It takes a little bit try and error to find the different values that will look good on your current project, but otherwise it should be quite easy fix to do things. But it's a good news that you can use. I'm very glad about using height maps. This means that you can do boring work with the help of your image editor. You can do very rough work very fast. Import your map, export your height map, import it again, and that way you can save time, because it takes a lot of time to do things like that. If I'm gonna lower this area with the help of the tools, it means that why is it red? Oh, it's such a big brush. I will have to lower every feature I made here manually, and it will destroy my detail there, because it will be work here, and then I have to work all the time just to work with the different details here to keep all that detail. This way you can more or less remap the altitudes of everything. And remember, we have just 2 dimensions. The only dimension that is working is this dimension here, and this is different pixels here, and we'll probably have another one over here, and then we have another one there. But the game has a very interesting way to resolve those pixels so it looks good in the game. But this means that you can export something and your height map, take it into an image editor and work with it and take it back without destroying any details. Case in point, do you know why I know why it doesn't destroy detail? Because I worked on this area for a very long time, and I know every crook and cranny here, so I know it hasn't been destroyed. I would see that directly, because everything was thought out and planned by my brain. So yes, I would recognize if something was destroyed. So you are free to export your height map and do whatever you want with it, and you can export it. The cool thing is that you can work on selective areas and do things like this, and it will not destroy these. Yes, I'm repeating myself because I'm so happy about this, because I didn't know it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was everything for this episode, and as always, thank you for watching.